Hello. All right, today is the last day. Can you believe this? The last day of Winn Dixie. That has been such a great book. Have you enjoyed it? Raise your hand if you've enjoyed it. Yeah, it is great. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed reading it out loud to you. I've enjoyed seeing the work that you've been doing with Miss Boyner. I've enjoyed all of it. So let's get to chapter 25. Okay. We heard the music before we even got to Gloria Dump's house. We heard it almost a block away. It was the guitar playing and singing and clapping. I wondered what was going on, my father said. We walked up Gloria's sidewalk and around back through her yard and into her kitchen, and what we saw was Otis playing his guitar, Miss Franny and Gloria sitting there smiling and singing, Gloria holding Sweetie Pie in her lap. Amanda and Dunlap and Stevie were sitting on the kitchen floor, clapping along and having the best possible time. Even Amanda was smiling. I couldn't believe they were so happy when Winn Dixie was missing. We didn't find him, I shouted at them. The music stopped. Gloria Dump looked at me and said, "Child, we know you didn't find him. You didn't find him because he was right here all along." She took her cane and poked at something under her chair. "Come on out of there," she said. There was a snuffle and a sigh. "He's asleep," she said. "He's plumb wore out." Plum. I want you to look that word up today. There's two different spellings of plum. And it's a homophone, homograph, something you're studying this week. Let Miss Boyner know. Plum. Plum wore out. She poked around with her cane again, and Winn Dixie stood up from underneath their chair and yawned. "Winn Dixie!" I yelled. "Dog!" Gertrude squawked. Winn Dixie wagged his tail and showed me all his teeth and sneezed. I went pushing past everybody. I dropped to the floor and wrapped my arms around him. "Where have you been?" I asked him. He yawned again. "How did you find him?" I asked. "Now there's a story," said Miss Franny. "Gloria, why don't you tell it?" "Well," said Gloria Dump, "we was all just sitting around waiting on you two, and after I convinced these Dewberry boys that I ain't no scary witch and full of spells and potions—" "She ain't no witch," Stevie said. He shook his head bald, and he looked kind of disappointed. "No," said Dunlap, "she ain't. If she was, she would have turned us into toads by now." He grinned. "I could have told you that she wasn't a witch. Witches don't exist," said Amanda. "They're just myths." "And all right now," said Gloria, "what happened was we got through all them witchy things, and then Franny said, 'Why don't we have a little music while we wait on you two to get back?' And so Otis played his guitar, and whoa, whee! There ain't a song he don't know. And if he don't know it, he can pick it right quick up, and if you hum it to him, he's got a gift." Gloria stopped and smiled over at Otis, and he smiled back. He looked all lit up from the inside. "Tell what happened," Sweetie Pie said. "Tell about that dog." "So," said Gloria, "Franny and me, we started thinking about all these songs we knew from when we were girls, and we got Otis to play them, and we started singing and teaching the words to the children. And then somebody sneezed," said Sweetie Pie shouted. "That's right, somebody sneezed, and it wasn't none of us. So we looked around and wondering who did, thinking that maybe we got us a burglar in the house. We looked around and we didn't see anything, and we started into singing again. And sure enough, there was another big achoo. Sounded like it was coming from my bedroom, so I sent Otis in there. I said, 'Otis, go in there and see who's sneezing.' So Otis went. And do you know what we found?" I shook my head. "Winn Dixie!" shouted Sweetie Pie. "That dog of yours was all hid up underneath the bed, squeezed up under there like the world was about to end. And he was smiling like a fool every time he heard Otis play the guitar, smiling so hard he sneezed." My daddy laughed. "It is true," Miss Franny said. "It is the truth," said Stevie. Dunlap nodded and smiled right at me. "So," Gloria Dump said, "Otis played his guitar right there so that dog, and little bit at a time, and Winn Dixie came creeping out from underneath the bed." "He was covered in dust," said Amanda. "He looked like a ghost," said Dunlap. "Yeah," said Sweetie Pie, "just like a ghost." Said Gloria. Looked just like a ghost. Anyway, the storm stopped after a while, and your dog settled under my chair and fell asleep. And that's where he's been ever since, just waiting on you to come back and find him. Winn Dixie, I shouted. I hugged him so tight and wheezed, and we were out there whistling and calling for you, and you were right here all along. Thank you, I said to everybody. Well, said Gloria Dump, we didn't do nothing. We just sat here and waited to sang some songs, and we all got to be good friends now. Now, that punch ain't nothing but water and egg salad sandwiches. It got tore up by the rain. You got to eat them with a spoon if you want egg salad, but we got pickles to eat and little lozenges, and we still got a party going on. My daddy pulled out a kitchen chair and sat down. Otis, he said, do you know any hymns? I know some, said Otis. You hum it, said Miss Franny, nodding her head, and he can play it. My daddy started humming something, and Otis started picking out his guitar, and Winn Dixie wagged his tail and lay back down underneath Gloria's chair. And I looked around the room at all the different faces, and I felt my heart just swell up inside with pure happiness. I'll be back in a minute, I said. But they were all singing now and laughing, and Winn Dixie was snoring, so no one heard me. Outside, the rain had stopped, and the clouds had gone away, and the sky was so clear it seemed like I could see every star ever made. I walked all the way to the back of Gloria Dump's yard. I walked back there and looked at her mistake tree. The bottles were quiet, and there wasn't a breeze. So they were just hanging there. I looked at the tree, and then I looked up at the sky. Mama, I said, just as if though she was standing right beside me, I know 10 things about you, and that's enough. That's not near enough for me. Not near enough. But Daddy is going to tell me more. I know he will. Not that he knows you're coming back. He misses you, and I miss you. But my heart doesn't feel empty anymore. It's full all the way up. I'll still think about you, I promise, Mama. But probably not as much as I did this summer. That's what I said that night underneath Gloria Dump's mistake tree. And after I was done saying it, I stood just staring up at the sky, looking at the constellations and the planets. And then I remembered my own tree, the one Gloria had helped me plant. I hadn't looked at it for a long time, and I went crawling around on my hands and knees searching for it. And when I found it, I was surprised at how much it had grown. It was still small, and it still looked more like a plant than a tree. But the leaves and the branches felt real strong and good and right. And I was down there on my knees when I heard a voice saying, "Are you praying?" I looked up, and it was Dunlap. "No," I said, "I'm not praying, I'm thinking." "Well, what about?" He crossed his arms and looked down at me. "All kinds of different things. I'm sorry that I called you and Stevie bald-headed babies." "That's all right," he said. "Gloria told me to come out here and get you." "I told you she wasn't a witch." "I know it," he said. "I knew it all along. I was just teasing you." "Oh," I said, and I looked at him close. It was hard to see him in the dark yard. "Ain't you ever going to stand up?" I asked. He asked. "Yeah," I said. And then he surprised me. He did something I never in a million years would have thought that a Dewberry boy would do ever. He held out his hand to help me up. And I took it, and I let him pull me to my feet. What a good friend. "I'll race you back to the house," Dunlap said, and he started to run. "Okay," I shouted, "but I'm warning you, I'm fast." We ran, and I beat him. I touched the corner of Gloria Dump's house right before he did. "You shouldn't be running around in the dark," said Amanda, and she was standing on the porch looking at us. "You could trip over something." "Aw, Amanda," said Dunlap, and he shook his head. "Aw, Amanda," I said, too. And then I remembered Carson. I felt bad for her. I went up on the porch, and I took hold of her hand and pulled on her. "Come on," I said, "let's go inside." "Indiana Opal," Daddy said when me and Amanda and Dunlap walked in. "Are you here to sing some songs with us?" "Yes, sir," I said, "only I don't know that many songs." "Well, we'll teach you," he said. He smiled at me real big. It was a good thing to see. "That's right," said Gloria Dump, "we will." Sweetie Pie was still sitting in her lap, but her eyes were closed. "Care for a lot of Miss Lozenges?" Miss Franny asked, passing me the bowl. "Thank you," I told her. I took the little Miss Lozenge and unwrapped it, and I put it in my mouth. "Do you want a pickle?" Otis asked, holding in a big jar of pickles. "No, thank you," I said. "Not right now." Winn Dixie came out from underneath Gloria Dump's chair, and he sat down next to me, and he leaned into me, the same as I was leaning into my daddy. And Amanda stood right there beside me, and I looked over at her, and she didn't look pink-faced at all. Amazing what some friendship can do. Yeah, Stevie echoed. Are we going to sing or what? Let's sing, said Sweetie Pie, opening her eyes and sitting up straight. Let's sing for the dog. Otis laughed and strummed his guitar, and the flavor of Little Miss Lozenges opened in my mouth like a flower blooming. I love that. All sweet and sad. And then Otis and Gloria and Stevie and Miss Franny and Dunlap and Amanda and Sweetie Pie and my daddy, and we all started to sing a song. And I listened careful so I could learn it right this time. The end. How about that? That's the end of the book. There's just questions. And I know you don't want to know the answer to the questions right now. That was a super great book. I loved that book. That was great. Did you guys enjoy it? All raise your hand if you enjoyed it. Yes! All right, so I've heard that you have pretended like you've eaten a Little Miss Lozenges, and I am so excited about that. I think that you have felt sorrow, you felt happiness, you have felt maybe some things in your heart you wanted to get out, or maybe some things that you know that felt good and made you happy. I know I had to take something yesterday, and I thought about the Little Miss Lozenges, and it made me all happy and sparkly inside, and I thought, wow, I wonder if this is what my children in my classroom are thinking right now. How you can feel happy and sparkly inside, but you can feel sad about things too, and you can talk about it. Wasn't Winn Dixie a great dog? I know you guys are going to be watching clips of Winn Dixie and some of the movie with Miss Boyner, and when I come back next week, you're going to be watching some of it. But listen, I think it's the funniest thing when he smiles. It just cracks me up. It just makes my insides just giggle. And I want for you guys to be really good when you see some of the clips, because you're going to be comparing these clips to some things when I come back. And I know Miss Boyner has some things for you to do as well. So I want for every one of you to now look at Miss Boyner. Hi, Miss Boyner. I miss you too. And I'll give her a big old Winn Dixie smile. And look at her, and she is going to tell you exactly what to do. I love you guys. I miss you guys. I will see you next week. I promise you I will be back. And you will probably miss Miss Boyner like crazy. So everybody give her big old hugs today and tomorrow, because we are really going to miss her, especially me and you. But we're going to miss her a lot. She has done so wonderful in the class. Everybody give her a golf clap. Golf clap. All right, now everybody give her a thumbs up. Everybody look at her. Everybody give her a Winn Dixie smile. And I will see you on Monday. I love you guys. Bye.